What's happening?
What's up, John? How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Hey, anything good coming? Any of these loans? Any of these guys serious, making stuff happen? I try to
A
vet
lot of
them.
a lot of the guys that are looking to buy businesses are just looking for information.
Yeah,
Um, Typically, for them to move forward or for it to be um, an actual SBA loan, they have to have a purchase and sale done.
yeah,
So a lot of times they want to know, hey, what's the process like? Well, here's the process, but it doesn't start until you get the purchase and sale because you need something to underwrite it off.
yeah. And then it takes 120 days after that, at least, right?
Yeah, what I tell everybody, if the business is, let's say, 200 or 300K or less, I suggest doing either the Bolt program or a term loan, and then seller finance the rest. That's going to be the easiest. If it's over 300,000, then go through the SBA, but you have to have that 120 days to close.
Yeah. What's the turmoil?
Not so much turmoil. It's just more, one, do they have all the information that they need? So a lot of times in due diligence, they're not getting, believe it or not, people aren't getting tax returns or they're not getting everything early enough. They're not having closing. They're not. I don't have the turmoil because I tell them, listen, you're at least putting 10% down, but prepare for 20% and have at least 120-day close. If they don't do those two things, it's not something I'm personally going to work on because of how much work will go into it.
Right.
And if I don't think it has a good shot at closing, I'm not doing it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that Bolt program and maybe how I can do that.
Anyone can do it. It's probably the easiest SBA loan I've ever been a part of.
Is it a loan or a line of credit?
It's a loan.
Okay.
It's
How
a loan.
long? What's the terms right now, basically?
It's the terms won't change in terms of what it's based on. It's always going to be 10 years. It's a 7A, right? So the Bolt is just a way to describe it, but it's a 10-year loan at prime plus 275. All right. So as of last week, it was coming out between 9 and 10%, maybe a little bit into the 10s.
Okay.
Now, the reason why you'd rather do an SBA 7A versus a 504 is SBA 7A, you can pay off at any time and the interest adjusts quarterly.
Awesome. Okay, so that's how 7As work.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? 504?
504 is primarily used when there's a building involved.
Okay, so you're not going to pay it off.
Yeah, but I'll put it to you like this. Let's say you came to me and said, hey, John, I need to buy a office building, right? I still have a bank that I would take you to that would do a 7A over, like, let's say 20, 25 years as opposed to 10, because I want you to be able to pay it off early.
Okay.
Where 504, you really aren't going to have that option. So let's say we do a 504 for you and it comes in at 11%, right? That's obviously pretty high for a 25-year loan. Not historically, but I wouldn't want you to be stuck in that for that long. So it's always a better idea to do a 7A as opposed to a 504.
What does the Bolt program, what type of documentation does someone need and how does that work?
Real simple, man. Like, all we're collecting on the Bolt is an application, 6 months of banks, 2 months of payment processing statements, a driver's license, a voided check, and their last 2 years of business tax returns. Now, they will ask for insurance and anything else that an SBA would ask through the process. Yeah. But to get started, that's all we need. And then from there, what I do a review or a strategy session. And as long as the person has, let's say, 680, I feel pretty confident in moving forward. Obviously, 700 is better because they are going off of TransUnion Vantage, I believe 8 or 9. And so a lot of times the TransUnion is a little bit different. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower.
Yeah.
All right. Now, where have people gotten caught up in it or they didn't get through is usually credit, both business and personal. Now, I can pull business credit, and we do pull business credit as part of our strategy session, but sometimes it's not accurate. So what they do is they do a tri-merge. So every SBA loan has to meet their internal guidelines, and I believe it's either 155 or 175. And so if people fall short, we hold everything to the side and then reapply them in 30 days because it's usually just something stupid like they need to pay down a card or something.
Is there a time limit on this Bolt program?
There isn't technically. However, it's such an easy process and such a bad idea from the SBA or from the bank standpoint that they've already increased certain parameters. So I don't think it's going to be something that's going to be here in like 2 years.
Okay, but it'll be here probably early next year and stuff like that.
It will probably be around early next year. I
How,
cannot, it's a beta program. I can't say for sure.
how does this strategy work where, this is kind of interesting when you made that video. So you have to do 500,000, but for a company like mine that's doing way more than 500,000, you can then go apply 3 times in 1 year. So I could go get 450,000.
Correct. So they're capping total exposure on it at 450.
Yeah.
And they cap each individual application at 150,000. Now I've been telling people you can apply after 6 months. The truth is you can probably apply after 3 months, and we're seeing that now. So everybody that worked with us in the spring and the beginning of summer is now eligible for additional funds, and most people are taking it. Crazy not to take it.
Yeah. That's a really good deal. What can you do with this Bolt program loan?
Anything.
Anything business related. I like it.
Yep.
All right,
Because
I got it.
at the level, sorry, I don't mean, go on.
Go ahead. I'm gonna.
No, because they're not requiring collateral unless we go over 350 total.
Yeah. So here's the scenario. It's gonna be kind of weird. I'm thinking of different things. Maybe you can kind of strategize with me. So this is different from my business, but I have an opportunity at the end of the year. It could possibly happen in January. A friend of mine and his brother have a fiber optics drilling business, and they have all these contracts with utility companies out in the Midwest. It's growing rapidly. They're gonna net $1 million this year.
Mhm.
Okay. They had a partner they brought in because he knew the operations on this. They just knew about this. They already had a big tree business, about an $8 million tree business. So they got into this 2 years ago. He has 20%. They can't stand the guy anymore. They already brought in an operations guy. They want to buy him out. They specifically want me to buy them out, help them with the vision and everything. I'll do stuff virtually, but they want to just trade partners. But I can basically buy this for like 65 cents on the dollar, his share. All right. So I have to bring 400 cash to cash him out. It may be, they're still negotiating. They think they're going to be around 350. This guy really wants 400. Let's call it 400. I have $400,000 in cash to do it. And it's a really good do it. But what are some other ways I could possibly do that? So I don't have to bring all that cash. Or is there a way to do it, put the cash out personally, and then somehow get that cash back to myself?
Those are great questions. So I can help finance that company once it's up and going, meaning with project funding. But for you to buy it, there's really 2 things I would do. I wouldn't do an SBA, a traditional SBA, where you're going to be buying a 20% stake in it. I would tell you that you should use the Bolt to get 150 now. If this guy is very, very stuck on not getting paid in tranches or doing the majority cash out, I would do 150 Bolt, see what we get you on a term loan, and maybe we get you 250, right? So now the balance is only 150. You either can cover that with your cash or have it in there in 4 months. I would never say 3, but I would say 4 months, you pay him the difference. So
Yeah.
apply, you get the Bolt now, pay him down, also use a term loan to, hopefully we can get you another 100. We'll probably be able to get you more, but I'm just saying, worst case scenario, do 150 Bolt, 100K term loan,
I like that.
and then in 4 months, reapply for the Bolt. And
That's what they're trying to negotiate, to hit them in kind of tiers.
yep,
And he wants it, if he's gonna take cash, he's gonna take less. Otherwise, to do the tiers. Now, how would that work? Because would I set up a new? So this is a separate company. Now, they've been in business 2 years, but I'm buying the shares.
mhm.
Can I set up that Bolt through my existing company and then use that? I like that. That's a great way to not pull out all the cash. And there's
Yeah.
gonna be such a huge return on it. It's no problem paying it.
Yeah, exactly. I would do a Bolt with your with GTR, right? And then
That's
pay him.
150.
Yep, that's 150. If you need more, we would do a term loan and kind of go from there, right? See what it depends on what that purchase and sale look like.
Or I could take a Bolt 150 and then put 100 in my own end. That's
Yeah.
250. And then I'll say, I'll give you the other 125 in 4.5 months.
Exactly.
That's our contract, and do another Bolt. So then I'm only out of pocket 100.
Yep.
Now, what if you said if I wanted to do a Bolt and then a term loan, how would that work?
Same thing. We would literally run 2 applications simultaneously of each other
Can do that.
because they're 2 different departments. I have a whole department that does term loans, and then I run all the business side of it.
I'm gonna, John, we have a deal, that deal maker family. You met Mark Evans, because
Yes.
when I put your video up, he messaged me, oh yeah, I met John on the boat, great guy. And Burns is in there as well. That's a great group, because they got big businesses, they got a lot of money. And he posted that and everybody was asking questions. So your video went over really well. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And then I don't know if guys have reached out to you, but I'm going on after this because we have this little monthly call and I'm going to start talking to about it. So it's a 7A loan, because guys were asking if it was line of credit term. I didn't know. It's a term loan, but because it's 7A, you could pay it down and the fast as you want.
Yeah, it literally, a 7A traditionally is a 10-year note, right? So it's a 10-year loan. You're getting the full amount. You have monthly payments 30 days after, and that's really it. Like, there's nothing crazy about it. It's relatively straightforward and simple.
So-
Where most people are getting jammed up is business credit or personal credit on the TransUnion side.
So you can get a Bolt $150,000 loan in your existing business. We'll call it GTR, Gutter King. But you
Yeah.
can take that money and go do other things with it, as long as that you can support that loan and pay it.
Correct.
I mean, that's fucking good.
Yeah. It's I'll give you an example. I have 5 $1 million plus SBA loans. They have all been out 2 to 4 months right now. They have not closed yet. Okay. Traditionally, it takes, I would say, 4 to 5 months to close bless you.
Thank you.
An SBA loan, unless the person's motivated, right? Most people fall out, most people fall out of that process. With the Bolt, very few people falling out of the process, and they're usually getting everything over to us pretty quick, so they're done in like 15, 20 days.
Yeah, these are good loans.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just oblivious to a lot of this stuff before I was talking to you. We'll keep posting.
This is new.
Yeah.
This is, and truthfully, I don't anticipate this lasting. Like, it's too easy compared to what the normal process is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense. Like my main SBA bank, like if you said, hey, I need $2 million, help me. I wouldn't be going to the same people I do the bolts, right? I have a different bank that specializes in SBA loans above 350,000. But this, because it's so easy, I would say that's for the last 3 or 4 months, that has been probably 30 or 40% of my business is just
Wow,
doing these bolts.
that's incredible. Even like the factoring, I mean, I keep talking about that, but that just was like a total game changer to me. And I've had, our busy season's gonna start in like 2 weeks. And I'm looking at the trending, like where I was last year at this time. It's just been it's been a big increase. It's just, I don't
Yeah,
know,
there's
just
no
how it
stress.
goes. I
There's
mean,
no
I'm just
stress.
marketing more. I'm just going all in here. And I would be really, that would be the number one thing on my mind every morning when I woke up and went to sleep right now. Like, shit,
Yep.
we got a problem here because I'd have to factor, if you grow 30%, you got to have 30% more cash.
Yeah.
If you were leaking last year at this time, well, you're in deep shit because you're not
Yep.
going to have 30% more.
They just came out with a stat, 37% of businesses are behind on their rent for October.
I saw that the post you just put.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, and I had a different factor that was weird is Hurricane Ian, because that hit all over South Carolina, Florida, all these different places on that. I had one company, MAA, which is a major apartment operator in those states. And I think we're doing 60 different complexes in like 3 weeks, because they got branches all over their properties. They can't have those branches up there. Even little ones, they're going to fall off and hit someone, their liability. They're like, we need these out of here in 21 days. Give us a price. I gave it to them. But that is killing my cash flow in a way right now if I wasn't factoring, because I got to kick out like another couple $100,000.
Yep.
So that would have set me up even worse. But I just saw a bunch of factoring went out this morning. So
Yeah. I mean, you have to look at it like, what are your margins, right? So even, let's say you have 50% margins on whatever work that you do, but you're net 30. Okay. So if you have an increase of $100,000 in a month, that's an extra $50,000 you have to lay out for 30 days. And the numbers keep going up. Let's say it's 200. Well, you got to lay out 100. Most businesses do not have that, right? To just lay out. So factoring, what I've noticed with factoring is it's a very, very weird sales cycle. Every program I have, people jump on it. Okay. With factoring, I usually have to address it once or twice, and people don't usually take it right away. And then what they'll do is they'll wait, 2, 3, 4 months and reach back out and say, all right, how do I get this done? What do I have to do? And it's either because they want to shop and see what else is around, or they're just not on board with the idea. I just had this happen where I spoke to somebody 3 months ago. It was actually somebody who has experience with my factoring company because one of their clients referred them. And they sat on it for 3 months, and now they just said, all right, what do we got to do to set this up? It's a no-brainer if your business is structured like that.
that's the key of knowing your margins. People worry about gross. So they look at 100, but if you're doing 100, let's just say your margins are only 30%. So you take another 100 on, you're going to make 30 grand. This is how it works out. I explained it to Guy. So you're going to make 30,000 on that, but you got to kind of put up almost 100 to do it. Well, what if your buddy said, or me, I said, hey, yeah, do it. I'll give you the 100. Just give me 2,000. Just do that.
Yep.
You keep 28. You would jump all over that.
All over it.
You would think, why am I doing that? You'd be like, wait, you don't want like 10? No, just 2.
Yep.
That's how it's going to work. And I said, that 2,000, first of all, you can afford it. But now you're not playing mental gymnastics during the day, trying to figure out if you have enough money and all this other. So you can focus on making more money. You'll make way more than $2,000.
Yeah.
You'll probably go get another 100 grand and make another 28, which is exactly what happened to me.
the key that people seem to forget is it's not just how do you bridge a certain gap at a certain point, it's money velocity. Okay.
Mhm.
The most successful companies, margins matter no matter what. However, if you tell me I can make 10%, but I can turn it over 5 times throughout the course of a month versus I can make 25% and only turn it over 2 times, I want the business that is going to have the higher rate of money velocity.
Yep.
Because the more you turn it over, the more money you make. And so that's essentially what factoring does, is it allows you to turn over everything a lot quicker, okay, and allows you to scale at a faster rate, and it doesn't really affect or impact your margins. Versus if you were to take out like a loan for that amount or have to take out consistent loans for a certain amount, that will eventually eat into margins where factoring won't.
No brainer. John, I want to do the, so that's a real deal, that 400,000. We just have to get it on the thing, but I like that. I knew you were going to come up with a good idea. I was kind of thinking of different ones in my head, see if that would work. I could do that. Even just taking 150 off the table, and even if I had to bring 250, it would just make me feel better.
Yep. Well, not only that, but you're also getting a write-off of the loan, right, on the
Yeah.
interest. So
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense from a structure standpoint to do it. It's just a matter of, do you want to give them 150? Do you want to give them 250? That's up to you. But you just come back to me and we'll figure it out.
And on that thing, I'm going to make about $150,000 a year on it. So
Yeah,
no
pays
problem
for
bringing it
itself in
back.
3 years.
Yeah, it's like a no-brainer. And because I know there'll probably be other opportunities, so that's another reason. I used to always think, well, if I have the cash, I'll do it. I mean, I was just like a person, like, especially after 2008, like I want to hoard cash. But now it's just, if you have cheap money, that might not be considered cheap money, but in the scope of you're making a lot of money off something, it's the 2,000 out of the 30. Who cares?
Yeah,
Go
I
do it.
mean,
Go do more. Because
that's
you'll
the
go get more
difference.
opportunities.
It's the difference between good debt and bad debt, right? So
Yeah.
you can have debt. You just want that debt to be earning more than you're paying on, and you want it
Arbitrage.
to be stable. Exactly.
That's
If
exactly that's everything. That's what we're doing, arbitraging money.
Yep, that's
Arbitrage
what
more, throw
everybody
another
does.
zero on there. Yep.
Exactly. If everyone thought like that, world would be a lot different. World would be a better place. You know?
Hey, John, is there any other things you want to talk about today? But let's start doing these again every other week and stuff. And because I like post these up for 30 minutes. I'll post this. This is going to be about 30 minutes. I'll post it up tomorrow. Write
Okay.
up a thing. I'll put your info and everything. But I think this is a hot loan that people want.
For sure it is. Yeah, I'll tell you, just throw it in the calendar. You don't have to go through the calendar. Just put an email invite, and we'll do a weekly or every other week call and just knock these out.
Everything. I learned so much on these calls, so it was great. But hey, well, I'll talk to you soon. And we got that mastermind coming up. It's gonna be
I'm
fun.
excited. I'm excited. Appreciate it.
Definitely. All right, John. It was great talking to you. I'll talk to you soon, bro.
All right, be good, brother. Thank
All
you.
right.